So, lads, we're looking at the 2024 Olympic team, and we got to talk a little bit about Team USA, and we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark's involvement in Team USA. And I think a lot of people, obviously and rightfully so, are like, yeah, Caitlin Clark is, she's obviously on the team. And I hate to say this, that's not the case. That is not the case at all. Caitlin Clark is far from being guaranteed to be on Team USA for the World Cup. And the reason, a big reason is, there are players on this team that won't play with her. Like, I'm going to be very clear. There is a player on this team currently who is a lock to make the World Cup team who won't play with Caitlin. And there are definitely players that don't want to. Like, if you want to take a look here, and you want to look at this team right here, who are locks to make this team? Breanna, no. She has been dog shit since she's come back. Aja, a lock. Stewie, a lock. They're both locks. Copper is a lock. Chelsea Gray is a lock. Jackie Young is a lock. We are looking at 5 absolute guarantees. Kelsey Plum is pretty much a lock. And if you're looking at the point guard position, Paige Bueckers is a lock. Why is Paige Bueckers a lock over Caitlin Clark? Because there's not going to be players that don't want to play with Paige. And if you might be saying, oh, but like, that means nothing. I don't think people realize that Team USA has always been politics. Gino Auriemma refused to pick Candace Parker when she was the MVP. Sorry, the finals MVP. She was arguably the best player in the world, and Gino Auriemma wouldn't pick Candace Parker because they didn't like each other. What was it? Gino Auriemma never picked Naka Wumake. But he would make sure he would always bring his UConn players. He brought a Stewie who was not ready in 2016 or who was not good enough in 2016 over Naka and Candace Parker. Like, Jewel Lloyd's not going to make the team, duh. But when we look at the Team USA camp, they're not, as you can see from this team right here, they brought 1 point guard in Chelsea Gray. Kelsey Plum's playing point guard. For Caitlin to make the team, let's say Sabrina's out, Paige is in. For Caitlin to make the team, she has to make the team over. I've said this plenty of times. It is Kelsey Plum, Olivia Miles, Caitlin Clark, Veronica Burton for one spot. Who is the best of those players? Caitlin Clark. Duh. But Alyssa Thomas is somebody who has been with Team USA for a long time. She was second in MVP last year. She averaged, what did she average in the World Cup? So she was one of the key bench players in the World Cup. She averaged 10 points per game in the last World Cup. She was one of the key players in the Olympics, sorry. The last World Cup was a starter and averaged 10 points per game. I got to be clear. If Nafisa Collier is injured, Alyssa Thomas is starting. And Caitlin Clark's not going to start. Is she the best point guard in the world? By 100 miles. She's not going to start. It is straight up a case where Team USA is going to have to pick one or the other. And that decision is not going to be made by the higher-ups. That decision is going to be made by Aja, Fee, Stewie, Chelsea Gray. Skylar Diggins got shunned from Team USA because she got into a fight with Diana Taurasi. And Taurasi wouldn't play with her. I don't think people understand that Caitlin making this team is basically, it is almost certainly going to be a you versus me between her and Alyssa Thomas. That is who everyone's talking about who Caitlin's picking. Like, will this player make the team over Caitlin? The answer is, should they make it? No. Realistically, if you are a guard, should you make the team over Caitlin Clark? The answer is no. Obviously, the answer is no. That being said, the fact is like, you have to take into account pissing off Asia, pissing off every player, because them winning the Olympics, they were probably happy out. They were happy out winning the Olympics. They were like, oh yeah, we'll go win the Olympics. We're winning the World Cup anyway. It doesn't matter. Look, okay, yeah, I get it. We went out with a bad point guard situation last year. Chelsea's playing significantly better now than she did then, which is very true. And we've got Paige anyway, which is a fucking good consolation prize. I gotta be very clear, it's a really good consolation prize. And the funny thing is that not only is this a Caitlin situation here, it is almost certainly going to come down to, do you take Caitlin and Angel, or do you take Alyssa Thomas? Because that's probably what it comes down to. If you take Angel, you're taking Caitlin. Because if you're not bringing Alyssa Thomas, you're bringing Angel. And that's maybe the one thing that might save Caitlin Clark, is that you're not bringing Angel Reese and Alyssa Thomas. They're just too much as far as like for like is concerned. They're too similar at the international level. But I'm being very honest. I don't think I think they're going to take Alyssa Thomas. If Alyssa Thomas wants to play for Team USA, Caitlin Clark won't be there. Like, she just won't. She just won't. And I think it's very clear. And for people being like, oh, look, FIBA have put her face everywhere. Like, do you know about the 2014 World Cup? Every single bit of advertising for FIBA had Kevin Durant. Do you know who didn't play in the 2014 World Cup? Kevin Durant. It is now a case where Caitlin Clark, to make Team USA, has to make it over Alyssa Thomas. It's not between her and Kelsey Plum. Like, as we can assume Sabrina's not going to make it. If they bring Sabrina and Escu, Caitlin's just not going to make the team. Like, it is what it is. You're not bringing Sabrina and Escu, because Kelsey Plum's going to make it over Sabrina and Escu. You're not bringing Jackie Young, Sabrina and Escu, Paige Bueckers, and Caitlin Clark. You're just not doing that. It is as simple as that. You're not doing that. Yeah, it is a pity. It's a pity. Like, I don't think Caitlin Clark making it with Alyssa Thomas was a likelihood anyway. I don't think Alyssa Thomas would have wanted to play with Caitlin Clark. But I'm gonna be real. I think now there will be a flat out refusal. And for you being like, oh, if you refuse to play with Caitlin Clark, then you're gonna be the one that's cut. It doesn't work that way. Team USA does not give a shit about the ratings for a World Cup. It's not the point. Especially, it's not because it's not the Olympics either. Like, they don't give a shit. They've shown they did not give a shit. They actually said in the Olympics they didn't want it, the extra attention. They don't want it. Like, they don't want the extra hoopla that comes around with Caitlin Clark. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but like, their qualifiers were on TV. Yeah, their qualifiers were on TV. They've already sold the rights. They've already made their money. It's like with the WNBA. I was like, I don't think people understand that, like, the league have made their money. Like, they can toss Caitlin to the side again. CBA is done. And it is an unfortunate thing that it drastically decreases the likelihood. What happened? Caitlin Clark, and by the way, when people are saying, oh, Caitlin Clark doing this, what Caitlin Clark did was be very clear. She got cheap shotted. That's what she did. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. See you guys.